Hello, my name is Dave Nelson. I'm the master aboard the NOAA Ship Oregon II out of Pascagoula, Mississippi.
Alright, and what are your duties on the Oregon II?
My duties on the Oregon II, being the commanding officer, safety is the first and foremost duty. The other duties are to take the scientific party out, get the data, get the information, but to get everything done safely.
What interested you about going into this field of work?
Being from Pascagoula, Mississippi, I've been on the water all my life. Like being on the water, and this is what I wanted to do.
So what did you have to do to become qualified for this job?
Oh, to become qualified for this job, let's see. I started on board the Oregon II 19 years ago. Okay, I started as a deckhand and had to work my way up for 17 years to get to be the captain. I had to obtain 2 Coast Guard licenses to get to captain, and I also had to do roughly about 1,500 days at sea, in other words, to be qualified by the Coast Guard to drive the ship.
So if there was one thing you could share with students, what would it be?
It would be to, stay focused. Schooling is important. Stay focused and stay in school and do good. Set yourself a goal and go with your goal and produce your goal. Because you can do anything you want to do if you set your mind to it.
Hi, I'm Tracy Miller. I'm the executive officer on the NOAA Ship Oregon II, and I'm a lieutenant in the NOAA Corps, which means I'm an officer, and I've been in about 8 years.
What are your duties on the Oregon II?
My main objective is to stand watch, of course, and keep safe navigation of the ship. And then as an executive officer, I do a lot of administrative roles, kind of work with the department heads of the crew, the deck and the engine and the stewards, and make sure everyone's got what they need, and I help manage the budget on board, so all the ship's funds, and help the crew make purchases, which we need to keep the ship running. Also make sure everyone gets paid what they're due.
It's
so
important.
They love me for that. That's very important. And kind of keep the balance of the crew going.
So what interested you about going into this field of work?
Well, I never went to sea before, and I love the water, so I got into marine biology. And at my college, they also had a sea service where you could go on a ship, a training ship, and do maritime work. And so that was a good balance of my college career, working aboard a research vessel. It's fun working with scientists and different projects, and I've worked on oceanographic and now fisheries vessels.
So what did you have to do to become qualified for your job?
Become qualified, it's a lot of multitasking. So it's learning the ship, learning different styles of personalities, and managing all the different things that get thrown at you. You need to have a college bachelor degree in science or math or something like that, weather, and then you get interviewed, so they're also looking for leadership potential as well. Can you lead different people on the ship and make sure everything's done safely?
So if there was one piece of advice you could give to students, what would it be?
Have fun, find out what you're passionate about and go for it.
Hello, my name is Brian Adornato. I'm the navigation officer on the NOAA Ship Oregon II, and I'm an ensign in the NOAA Corps. I'm a commissioned officer in NOAA Corps.
So what are your duties on the Oregon II?
My main duty is to drive the ship when we're at sea, or make sure we have safe navigation. And then in addition to that, when I'm not on the bridge, ship handling, I work with the navigation products, either the electronic ones or electronic versions of the charts, and I make sure that the paper versions are ready to go, and I monitor all the broadcasts for navigation information that we receive. I also do other things, like I'm the environmental compliance officer. I keep track of environmental regulations that we have to comply with.
What interested you about going into this field of work?
I really like ships. I've liked ships and boats since I was fairly young. And I lived in a landlocked city, like you guys, and I just always thought they were so amazing. The NOAA Ship Oregon II is actually one of the largest ships I've ever seen or been on. When I got into NOAA Corps, I'd never seen a ship, but I learned a lot real quick, and I've loved it since then.
So, what did you have to do to become qualified for your job?
The first step was to get my degree. I have a degree in mechanical engineering, and after that I joined NOAA Corps. It's joining one of the services. You sign up for a certain amount of time, and they train you for about 5 months. After the 5 months of training was over, you arrive at the ship, you work on the ship for another year or so, and then you're qualified to stand your own watch to drive the ship by yourself. It's like getting a driver's license. So for the next year and a half, I'll be able to hold my own watch and, of course, continue with my other duties.
If there was one thing you could share with students, what would it be?
Don't be afraid to fail. I tried a lot of different things that I was not very good at, but I learned a lot. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. Even here, I've messed up many, many, many times, but I'm better for it, and it's good to try new things, even if you're not great at it.
Hello, my name is Ensign Junie Casson. I'm a junior officer on the NOAA Ship Oregon II.
What are your duties on the Oregon II?
On the Oregon II, I have various duties as a junior officer. One of them is charts, these paper charts here. I take care of them, maintain them, make sure that they're up to date with corrections. I'm also the movie officer, so I make sure that the movies are up to date and that the crew has something to watch when we're underway.
What did you have to do to become qualified for your job?
To become qualified, there's certain requirements, such as a bachelor's science degree in a NOAA-related science, and it has to be like so many credit hours towards that degree. And also, there's basic officer training class, BOTC, and you have to pass that successfully, and then go off to get sent to a ship from there.
What made you interested about going into this field?
What really interested me in going into the NOAA Corps was their aviation program, and also that there's so many different jobs that are available. Like there's meteorology, which I love. I get to go live on a ship. I get to be on, understand the shipboard life. I love being on the water, and also that I could have the opportunity to fly, and I can encompass everything that I like.
So, if there was one thing that you could share with students, what would it be?
It took a lot of hard work and dedication to get to this point. So just work for whatever you believe in, and talk to people in the field that you want to get into at some point. So that's probably the biggest help for me, was talking to people and working really hard.
Hi, my name is Brittany Palm, and I'm the Chief Scientist on the Oregon II, and we're out here conducting our CMAP Summer Ground Fish Survey.
So what are your duties on the Oregon II?
As the Chief Scientist, my main responsibilities are to oversee all the collection of the data. We're out here trawling as well as doing plankton surveys, and we just kind of make sure that everything runs smoothly, and we bring back a clean data set.
So what interested you about going into this field of work?
I've always been involved with marine science. My father was an avid fisherman, so I grew up fishing with him, and I knew I wanted to be near the water, on the water, so I went to school for marine science, and I haven't looked back since.
What did you have to do to become qualified for your job?
Go to school, get your degree. I've just finished my bachelor in 2009, and right now I'm finishing my master's, and I'm graduating next year. And then after that, I will be pursuing my doctorate. So study, study, study.
If there was one thing that you could share with students, what would it be?
Just to never give up. It's always been my dream to be out here and on the water, and I get to do it for a living. So just follow your dreams.
Hello. I guess. I am Alonzo Hamilton. I am a research fishery biologist with the Mississippi Laboratories in Pascagoula, Mississippi. I have been with NOAA Fisheries since December of 1982, before most of your parents were born.
So. What are your duties on the Oregon II?
I am a watch leader for the Summer Groundfish Survey, and that basically means I run the daily activities from midnight to noon.
What interested you about going into this field of work?
The simple fact that I did not have to wear a tie. No coat, no dress shoes. T-shirt, tennis shoes, I like that.
What did you have to do to become qualified for this job?
Read a lot. I have finished high school, obviously. Well, that may not be obvious, but anyway, finished high school, went to community college, graduated from community college, got a full scholarship to Jackson State University, Jackson, Mississippi. Completed that and got a master's from Jackson State University as well. So, and yeah, that's about it for now. That's enough.
And if there was one thing you could share with students, what would it be?
Live your dream. Live your dream. Be honest with yourself about who you are. Live your dream. Don't wait for somebody to tell it to you. You know who you are. You know what you want. Go out there and get it. It's not going to be given to you. And you may even have people tell you you don't deserve it. But if it's what you want and what you believe in, just be the best at it and know you're best at it.
All right, my name is Brian Thomas. I'm an electronic technician for Oregon II, which we can be sent to any other NOAA ships.
So what are your duties?
My duties are to take care of all the electronics on board the vessel, which is from the radars to the computers, to the sonars, to the winch counters to tell the depth, to the things we send in the water for the testing of the water.
What interested you about going into this field of work?
Well, I did 20 years in the United States Navy as a sonar tech, which is electronics, gives you a strong background in electronics. In order to do this, you have to have a strong background in electronics and also be self-motivated, because you don't have a supervisor with you. I'm the only one on board without a supervisor.
So what did you have to do to become qualified for your job?
Actually, I just 20 years in the Navy with a strong background in electronics and self-motivated, because you have to be able to go do something. You can't just wait for it to happen or wait for something to break. You see something breaking, you have to go fix it. A lot of times I'll see something broke before they even notice it, so I'm back on top of it getting it fixed.
So if there was one thing that you could share with students, what would it be?
Get your education, because it's better to work with your mind than your back.
Hi, my name's Chuck Godwin. I'm a skilled fisherman on the Oregon II.
What are your duties on the Oregon II?
I work the deck, which mainly means I help out on the bridge with navigation. I run the fishing equipment as far as putting the gear in, getting the gear out. Sometimes I help with the scientists in sorting the fish and identifying them, and basically keeping the boat looking like it should look.
What interested you about going into this field of work?
I was in the Coast Guard for 10 years, and I like the ocean, grew up in Florida, and I just thought it would be something pretty interesting to do, and I've been doing it on here for about 12 years now.
So what did you have to do to become qualified for this job?
In order to get qualified to work with NOAA, you got to have what they call an AB ticket, an able-bodied seaman ticket, and that encompasses a Coast Guard school that you go to, where you learn all about maritime classes and all that, as far as boat life.
And if there was one thing you could share with students, what would it be?
If you got a dream to go out to sea, this is probably a pretty good one. It depends on if you like being away from home and your family a lot. There is a lot of that, but the pay's pretty good, and it's always an adventure every day. It's something different.
Hi there, I'm Chris Nichols. I'm from West Palm Beach, Florida. I've been working for NOAA for about 2 years now.
And what is your job on the Oregon II?
I'm an able seaman, but also a fisherman. We're a fishing ship, so they have several different job classifications and titles, and I'm a fisherman, but originally a merchant marine known as an able-bodied seaman.
What are your duties on the Oregon II?
Work in the deck department, and what we do is we handle all operations on the exterior, pretty much everything that has to do with anything on the ship, with the exception of down below in the engine room. We handle bridge watch duties, helmsmanship, small boat operations, the maintenance of the exterior of the ship, painting and sanding and chipping. Let's see, what else? We just did a fantastic rescue swimmer and scuba diving drills today, and there's just a whole bunch of stuff we do. It's really quite a lot to it, but it's very rewarding and a very fun job if you like to be on the outdoors and around the ocean.
So what did you have to do to become qualified for your job?
Myself, I was in the Navy first, and then I decided to continue what I was doing in the Navy, which was navigation. I worked on the bridge of several Navy ships, aircraft carrier, cruiser, pretty much on supply ships, all kinds of stuff. And I decided to continue my naval career, but as a civilian with the Merchant Marine. You do that through the Coast Guard. You'll contact the Coast Guard and just look up Merchant Marine. There's several different career paths, and I chose the deck department end of it.
So what interested you about going into this field of work?
Travel. I've been everywhere that you can possibly think of that's close to port, with the exception of England. I never pulled into England, but pretty much everywhere. Asia, South America, North America, all around, places you just wouldn't believe.
And what's one thing that you could share with students?
If you don't think that math is a big deal, it is a big deal. There's math in everything. That was my hang-up when I was a kid, and I was always kind of freaked out about math, but I was able to muddle through it, pull it together, and I ended up making math a big part of my life. Science is cool too. Having some mechanical abilities is real important out here, but you learn that stuff, and it all comes to you.
My name is Paul Echo. I'm the chief steward here on the NOAA Ship Oregon II. I'm 20 years retired Navy. I feed a lot of Navy personnel. I've been in the two aircraft carrier. I feed about 5,000 people. About small ship too. I've been there about 800 people or Navy personnel. Now I'm 8 years here on the NOAA as the chief steward. I'm the one who ordered all the food, cooking, everything. My responsibility here is overall responsibility on the galley, on the steward department. I'm qualified because I got 20 years experience, retired Navy. That's why they got me over here, and I got a lot of experience. I went to a lot of culinary school. Like, I've been to a flag mess. I serve admirals also. Feed the admirals. I went to the UNITAS in South America. Dignitaries. I serve dignitaries, admirals, ambassadors, all that thing.
What interested you about cooking?
Interesting is because I love cooking.
Yeah.
And I love to eat. No rice, no work. So I always have rice. And that's mostly about it. And I'm pretty good also in culinary art. I curve those cantaloupe into turtle, dragonfly, crabs, and I can make the Idaho potato into like a roses. I curve them. Those are my culinary specialties.
If there was one thing that you could share with students, what would it be?
Oh, that will be for them is to study hard, be the best, so they can have their scholarship, grab all the scholarship that you can get. Like my daughter, she got all 100% Bright Future scholarship now. She's in medicine, and she still got the scholarship at the College of Medicine in Florida State University. So you guys study hard, get all what you got, grab it. This is the United States, so it's your future. Yeah, the future is on you. The United States is open. This is the freedom country.
My name is Randy Covington, and I'm a chief steward for NOAA. I've been working with them for 5 years, and I've been in the industry for 30 years. It's a hard job. You have to be flexible, but it's rewarding. The pay is rewarding anyway.
So, what are your duties on the Oregon II?
On the Oregon II, I'm the chief steward, and I help the other chief steward. There's two of us. We share the duties, making fresh pastries, food from scratch, paperwork sometimes, make sure my paycheck is right. We do a little training on the computer, make sure everything's sanitized and clean. That's basically it. We take care of the linen, the laundry, make sure the scientists are well kept, the rooms are kept clean.
What interested you about going into this field of work?
Well, I paid more than any other shore base. If I get a job doing shore work, cuts my pay in half, so pay doubles here. And I really like the baking part of it. I don't like cooking too much. But it's sort of grown on me, and it's the only thing I really know how to do.
Was there anything you had to do to become qualified for your job?
You have to be in this field like 3 years, and you have to have some computer training, to be computer literate, and that's just about it.
If there was something that you could share with students, what would it be?
Well, always pick something that you like and stick with it, and don't change jobs every other year like I did. You know, just stick with one job. You know, I would still been an engineer if I'd stuck with that. So just pick something you like and stick with it and don't quit.
As fast as I had to go the other day when I dropped that guy off.